Ferguson shot gathered at the second attempt by Kepa. Into the path of Aspilicueta, who's cut it back, and it's away as far as Kovacic has scored. Mateo Kovacic has scored. He's got away from Kante. Walcott into the penalty area. Richarlison's far post. Walcott goes for goal, and that's a good save from Kepa. Played on for calvert-lewin. Davis was available. Davis has got it. Davis still has it. Can't finish. Calvert-Lewin can, and Everton have surely won it. Dominic Calvert-Lewin has got his second. Duncan Ferguson dances down the touchline, and Everton are on the way to 3 points under the caretaker stewardship of an Everton legend.
Just fantastic scenes there, you know. Duncan fist pumping in his suit, swinging the ball boy round, kissing Tom Davies and Dominic Calvert-Lewin there. What an atmosphere it was in here that day.
Yeah, please give me that performance, that atmosphere all over again today. Usually afternoon, really early morning, afternoon kickoffs are really quiet inside Goodison. It takes a lot to generate a bit of atmosphere, but it won't this afternoon, guaranteed. Come sirens, as soon as them sirens go, this place will take off. And I just want the same result, same performance. I wonder if the ball boy's already took his place there, ready for Big Duncan running to him. So yeah, it's going to be amazing. But one thing, Sarah, I know we're going to get carried away. Big Duncan is in charge. The atmosphere will be brilliant. But I'm sure the big fella's saying to them, don't get carried away too much. We've got to perform. We've got to perform for an hour and a half. We've got to get this club back up the league, winning games, and it starts today. It starts today with 3 points.
It does, and it has to be 3 points today. We can see on the screen now, of course, the player arrivals. Lewis Dobbin there he is. Duncan Ferguson, suited and booted, ready to sit in the dugout and take charge of Everton Football Club. You've got, you know, the likes of Anthony Gordon the last time here, scoring a brace. Obviously, it was a really disappointing result, wasn't it, against Brighton? But, you know, I'm sure he'd be desperate to get on that pitch again today, especially playing under an Everton legend like Duncan Ferguson.
Yeah, I'm sure he will, and he's done enough to probably warrant his place. But I'm sure Duncan, as a manager, has been thinking over the last few weeks, if I was in charge, would I play certain players? Would I drop him? Well, he's got this opportunity, and when the teams do get when they do come on our screen, then only time will tell. So I'm expecting a couple of changes. I think he'll make a couple of changes, Duncan. And but whoever it is, whether you're starting from the first kick-off, the first whistle, to sat in the dugout waiting to come on, you've got to be pumped up. You've got to be ready. You've got to realise what this football club means to these people. And we're a massive club.
Yeah.
We're not a small club. We're a massive club. So come on today.
Absolutely right. Everton Football Club, we are a massive football club, and I really loved what Duncan said in his press conference when he was asked, do these players know what it means to play for Everton? Have you drilled that into them? What did you do? And he said, well, they do now. Put it that way. Yeah. And I loved it. Give me goosebumps. Because I thought, that's what you want, isn't it?
Of course, it is. When new players come to the club, they've got to know about the history of this football club and what it means to the fans of Everton Football Club. They really do. So I'm sure, I am 100% sure they will be ready for 12:30.
Oh, do you know what I'm excited for as well? Some of the newer players that, like you said, haven't got to experience Goodison Park at its best. Today, this place is going to be at its best. For the likes of, Patterson, who could potentially make his debut, Mikolenko, players like that. What's it going to be like for them, do you think, stepping on this turf when they hear the sirens, they hear the roar from all four stands of this ground?
They will realise then that they have joined a big football club with some fantastic supporters, a great football club, and then they'll realise, wow, I would love to win things at this football club, because if that's how they respond to a manager taking over in Duncan Ferguson to getting 3 points, then what would it be like if we won? If we won some trophies, if we started winning cup competitions, getting up into the European Championship. We're just waiting to take off as a club. The fans are waiting to get behind the boys. Hopefully it will start this afternoon.
Let's hope so. Let's hope we get climbing that table with 3 points today. Team news is just 2 minutes away now. But back to that VT that we saw against Chelsea. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, obviously, in the goals that day. He performed very well under Duncan Ferguson, didn't he? How much would he love to score today? Obviously disappointed with the penalty miss against Brighton, and he's yet to get up and running after a really serious and long injury. Do you think he'll start today? Do you think he'll be in the goals?
I do think he'll start today. I'd just say, if I was Duncan to him, just run your legs off. It's like the game last week, you didn't really see a lot of our strikers, Dominic and Rondon, and it were a tough ask for him. But just say, and I know he's about 3 or 4 games away, Dominic, from being match fit, as they say. But just go out there, even if he blows up after 60 minutes. But that's one thing you don't need to say to Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Go and work socks off. He does that week in and week out. He runs the channels, he goes for headers, he puts defenders under pressure. So you don't need to say that to Dominic Calvert-Lewin. That's his game anyway. So I think he'll be a definite starter this afternoon.
Definitely, and Richarlison as well, back in the goals with a superb goal against Norwich last week. Obviously, bitterly disappointing result, but it's always good to see you forward scoring goals. And obviously, Yerry Mina, I believe, will be back available and fit. Yep. Alan, so some important players. We're literally about 30 seconds from team news now, so we'll see how he's going to shape up. But do you think he'll, change from having that 2 in midfield as well, make us a bit more stable? How do you think we'll set up today?
Sarah, I really don't know. That's why I'm glad they haven't put me in charge. I won't know what team to pick.
Well, it's about to come as well.
Yeah, well, it's going to open my eyes. I know there's going to be a couple of changes, but I don't know in what department these changes will be.
Yeah, well, here it is. It is about to drop then. The team news today, Duncan Ferguson's side to face Aston Villa. In goal, we've got Jordan Pickford. John Joe Kenny, keeps his place and starts today. Mason Holgate, Richarlison is starting. Dominic Calvert-Lewin is starting. Damari Gray in there, Yerry Mina, fantastic to see him back in the side. That will give us a big boost, no doubt about that. And Josh Townsend, Abdoulaye Doucouré, Andre Gomez and Ben Godfrey. So that is your starting 11 today to face Aston Villa. Let's have a look at the bench. Asmir Begovic, Michael Keane, Alan, so there he is on the bench today. Seamus Coleman starts on the bench, Anthony Gordon in there as well. Jean-Philippe Gbamin, Salomon Rondon, Lewis Dobbin and Tyler Onyango as well. And of course the big man there, Duncan Ferguson in charge. Let's have a look at the visitors and Steven Gerrard's Aston Villa. Boo. Couldn't help myself. Emiliano Martin there starts in goal. Matty Cash, Ezri Konsa, Tyrone Mings, Douglas Luiz, John McGinn, cracking player there. Emiliano Buendia, Ollie Watkins, Philip Coutinho, another boo in there for him as well. Luca Dean makes his return to Everton just, a week, no less than after leaving. And Jacob Ramsey in there as well. And the bench for Villa A, Robin Olsen, Matt Targett, Morgan Sanson, Ashley Young, Danny Ings, Kane Hayden, Courtney House, Carney, here we go, we'll struggle with this one, Chukwuemeka and Tim Arabagnuman as well. Apologies for the absolute annihilation of your name there. That was quite a difficult one.
Rather you than me, Sarah.
You listen, we have this every week, don't we? I try and have a little look, but sometimes those pronunciations don't roll out. Anyway, those are the teams. So an interesting one. James Coleman on the bench as well.
John Joe Kenny and Mason Holgate. It's come from nowhere. Yeah, came from nowhere, really. So Duncan's obviously seen what he wants to see in training. Mason did really well for Duncan, if I remember, in his last spell. I think he put him into midfield in one game as well.
Like a CDM kind of role.
Yeah. So I don't know, but obviously looking at the team, I'm sure he's going to play him at centre back. But no Anthony Gordon.
I was quite surprised about that as well.
But I don't know what to say on that really. Couple of surprises. But as I say, I don't care who starts the game. Just go out there and give your all. Show the passion, get a result. No matter what team is there, get us a result today.
Absolutely. We desperately need one, don't we? And in terms of, we know defensively Everton have struggled recently. We have been poor. Yerry Mina coming back in there. He's been solid, hasn't he? I think he's such a key player to this team. Do you think he'll just give us a little bit more sort of security at the back?
He looked positive when he came on at Norwich. I thought we were all over the place, if I were being totally honest, first half against Norwich defensively. To say that they'd not scored goals for 5-6 weeks. And I thought defensively we were very poor. Mina came on second half. I thought we dominated the game second half without really being clinical in the last third. But yeah, Yerry's a big plus from set plays for and against, his height and his power in the air. So yeah, it's good that Yerry Mina's back in the team. But yeah, one or two surprises.
I think we were both a bit surprised, weren't we, when we saw that team?
Do you know what, Sarah? I'm glad as well. In a way, I'm glad that Danny Ings isn't playing for them.
Me
because
too.
he always seems to score against
He
us,
does.
doesn't he?
Southampton, wherever he's been, Liverpool, wherever he's been.
Yeah, I was driving up to the game with Graham Stewart, and we were trying to think of their team, and I went, I hope Danny Ings isn't playing, because he always scores against us. So I'm delighted in a way that he is on the bench. But they brought Coutinho in, who's a quality player, we know that, but is he up to speed? We'll soon find out. But don't get me wrong, Villa are a good side. They've got some good players. Buendia in midfield's a cracking player they got from Norwich. Ollie Watkins, John McGinn. So they've got some really good players. It won't be easy, but they'll not be expecting an easy game as well today.
They certainly won't. Somebody who'll know all about the atmosphere here is Stephen Gerrard, who will be in one dugout, and the man in the other dugout, the home dugout today, is Duncan Ferguson, and here's his interview now.
I think we need everybody. No, in our corner. I think it's, as you all know, as we all know, it's a really difficult time at the moment. Where the results have not been great. Well, they've been really, really poor, to be honest. Yeah. So we need to make sure that we're all together. Everybody in Finch Farm, everybody at the stadium. You know, everybody in the city. They need to try and get behind us. You know what I mean? I'm sure they will.
Do you feel that everybody as well just wants the best for Everton? Everything they're trying to do is with the best intentions and to do the best for Everton and ultimately bring the success that everybody wants to this club?
Yeah, well, absolutely. But we should always be doing our best for Everton, shouldn't we? As you know, that's what we do. We're Evertonians, we love our club. We fight as hard as we can for it.
You touched on the fans. What part can the Evertonians play in generating an uplift?
Well, same again. What happened to me a couple of years ago, I think, when we played the Chelsea at home. It was an electric atmosphere. It was one of the best I've experienced at Goodison. And I'm sure they'll be well up for it, you know what I mean? And we really need them to push us across the line, you know what I mean, for the whole game. I really kind of emphasise how important they are to us and for the 90 minutes. And I know they'll be with us.
What are the qualities you think every Everton team should have every time they go on the pitch?
Well, they should give everything. That's it. They should give everything. They should run themselves into the ground. They roll up their sleeves and fight for the club in every single game. Just imagine you asked a fan, go and put an Everton shirt on, get on that pitch. What would they do for us? So they need to do that.
How do you restore the confidence in time for Saturday as well?
Upbeat sessions, working hard, good messages, clear, simple messages, you know what I mean? And, getting in amongst the players and really, telling a few home truths as well. Because the past has been no good enough, but it's in the past. We move forward. The game's coming up now. Let's get ready for it, and that's the message is.
Says all the right things, doesn't he, Duncan Ferguson?
He does. He's obviously he's a fan's favourite, and he has been since he arrived at the club. So I just hope he's the crowd favourite for another hour and a half once this game kicks off, Sarah.
I hope so. But do you know what I've loved today? Even just walking here down Goodison Road, anyone I've seen since it's been announced about Duncan, any blue I see is giving it the all. Yes, come on, we're back, and that's what he will bring today, isn't it?
That's what this football club's all about. We want everybody united. We want everybody behind the team, behind the manager, behind the board. We just want Everton back where we belong. And I keep going on. When I joined the club, these were the best team in Europe.
Yeah, absolutely.
In Europe.
Yeah, and that's where we.
Of course, we're Everton Football Club. We should be there, but we haven't got any defined right to be there. We've got to produce results on the football field. We've got to get players that want to play for Everton Football Club, that are passionate, and then we will get in that position again. So. Starts today. It
starts today. Oh, I'm so ready for this one. I just hearing the sirens, it's going to be unbelievable. And something else I wanted to touch on, because I think it's a really beautiful thing actually, is Duncan wearing Howard Kendall's watch. We saw him wear the watch last time, his wristband as well, Duncan's wristband and Howard Kendall's watch. Two managers that absolutely love this football club. He'll be wearing that watch again today. Do you think he'll borrow anything else from Howard Kendall in terms of tactics, what he's saying in the dressing room?
Do you know what? When I joined, they were that good a team. Howard didn't really need to say anything before the game because the lads just went out and won every week. Yeah. But through the week, Howard Kendall were fantastic. I've watched some of Duncan's on our website, his training sessions the last 2 days. Intense. He's asking the players for a bit more to go and close the ball down. That's not rocket science. That's what you should do as a player anyway. You should go into training and you should work. They're not long hours that you're in there, but when you go in there, go in with a smile on your face, work hard, then come away from training as you're driving home and think, wow, I enjoyed that. And that was quite hard, but I've loved it. I got a great sweat on. It were intense. I've loved it.
Yeah.
Can't wait to go in again tomorrow. And that's how it used to be under Howard Kendall. You couldn't wait to get in training.
Brilliant. Well, speaking of training, here is the footage of Duncan Ferguson's Everton in training this week.
Back into the net. Good, Dom. Keep working as hard as we can. Yes, let's go another one in. Back in, Rick. Come on, Richie. Come on, just run. Yes, side, you know. Use the whole box. Come on. Move this play. John Johnson, on this side. Come on, big Jerry. Come on. Work to the ball. Work as hard as we can. There's one. Come on, Jerry. Push. Down, Ben. Push. Rest. We're here to work. We're here to win. You ready? Let's go. Let's go. We're here to win. There's one. Give him the first mark. Come on, Ray. Keep playing. There's two. Yes, come on, Sheeran. Get to the ball, son. Come on, Solomon. Keep going. Keep playing. Get a touch. There's one. Come on, Big Jerry. Come on, Demi, son. Come on, get a touch. Come on. Yes, well done. Run. Come on, Jinky. Good man. Well done, Demi, son. Love that, son. Love that. Come on, Jinky. Come on, Jinky. Good Solomon. Come on, Solomon. Yes. Come on, Demi. You give it away. You should be chasing. Come on. This one, Jerry. Come on, Richie. This one. Don, you done gone. Yeah. Come on, lads. Do it right. Get back. Let's go. Come on, do it right. You do your in pace. You push it as hard as you want to push. Come on, good side. Come on, get back and go. When you get back in, you go. Do it again. Yeah, you've gone again. This is the last one, so boys rest. Get a drink. Come on, G's. Come on, David. Good. Rest. Get a drink and get into the next exercise.
I love that. Leighton Baines as well. Still play, couldn't he?
Yeah, he could still play, to be quite honest. He still looks fit, but yeah, it's going. I know some fans are a bit resentful of ex-players being in certain roles and that, but when you're talking Leighton Baines, get 10 years great service, great player, loves Everton Football Club. Why not? Yeah. Why not?
Absolutely. I think, there's a lot to be said actually for people being involved that understand the club and know what the fans want as well, because for sometimes the fans feel a little bit disconnected, and I think straight away when you see Duncan Ferguson's name, when you see Leighton Baines and you look down on the touchline and you see them, we're all like, you're us, you're us.
Do you know what, Sarah? Let's not forget John Ebrell, obviously.
Of course, yeah.
John's was there last time with Duncan when Duncan got temporary charge. He's there again, and I played with Ebo, and he weren't one of them players that got the fans off the seats, etc. But from a player's point of view, you knew if John Ebrell were in the team, he would work, he would close the opposition down, he'd make it difficult, and he was a player's player rather than a fan's player. So great to see John. But one thing they were doing in them training sessions is whoever lost the ball, they was encouraging him then to go and win it back as quickly as possible, close down. That's not rocket science.
Yeah.
All good teams do that. When you lose the ball, go and get it back as quickly as possible, and that's what we want to see today.
That's it. It's the high intensity, isn't it? And it's doing the simple things well, the basics of football, but giving it your everything, which, as Duncan said as well, you should be doing that all the time anyway. But I think sometimes when confidence is low, you're on a bad run of form, the confidence goes, people may be a bit downtrodden, but let's puff our chests out today and fight for every ball, win the second ball, everything like that.
It is all about confidence, and when you're not playing well and you're a bit uneasy and one or two fans starting to get on your back, you're a professional football. You've got to accept that. You've
Yeah.
got to accept the
Part of
rough
it.
with the smooth. Of course you have. When you're playing well, you can't just accept kisses and pats on your back and that. If you're not playing well, you accept a bit of criticism. That's why you're in football. That's how it happens. So, you ain't going to get criticised, I don't think, this afternoon. If you go out there and give your all and give 100%, not one of these fans in here will criticise you today.
Absolutely, that's what we're like. Excuse me, give it all and we'll get right behind you. I'm not getting emotional at the thought of Duncan, I promise. I just had a little frog in my throat there. But now to an interview I did earlier with former player Stuart Barlow. Welcome back to Everton Live. Now, I am absolutely delighted to be joined by former Everton player Stuart Barlow. Stuart, thank you so much for joining us here on Everton Live firstly. How excited are you to be back at Goodison Park? And obviously, it's going to be an exciting game today.
Absolutely. I mean, Darren contacted me a couple of weeks ago. He said, come for the Villa game, and after last week's result, I was sort of half thinking, do a turn up, do a sort of swerving, but obviously delighted. I mean, first and foremost, delighted to be out and, out of this. I wouldn't say we're out of this COVID-19 situation at the moment, but just to be in a football ground, it's going to be, it's going to be a packed house today. It's going to be a raucous atmosphere, we know that. Obviously, got rid of the manager last week. Dunks took the helm for who knows how long. I'm sure we get into the players in that dressing room. I'm sure he's been doing it all week, but I'm sure before the game he'll be getting into the dressing room and to the players and saying, look, this means a lot to these fans, which it does. We know that. It hasn't been good enough over the last few months and we need to get a result today.
We desperately need to get a result, don't we? So it's obvious that things have been far from good enough, but this is football and how things quickly can change. The mood, certainly, from losing to Norwich next week, of course, the manager's gone. Big Duncan Ferguson's in there, former teammate of yours as well. If anyone's going to, get these players excited, get them up for the game, get the fans up for the game, it's him, surely.
Absolutely. I mean, if Dunk says you jump, you say, how high do you want me to jump? It's one of them. He's a fantastic person. Well, he was as a teammate to have around the place, not just off on the pitch, also off the pitch as well. And you see what he brings to when he took the caretaker job last time. He brought a lot of, a lot of effort and a lot of passion to the club, back into the club for them. I think was he charged for 4 games, something like that. And he'd done really well. Fans loved him, and he'll always be a legend at this club. And it's one of them. I'd love to see him maybe get long term, maybe all this season, and maybe a couple of seasons after that. Who knows? I mean, I think he's only in for the short term, for the interim at the minute. I'm sure he'll put his CV in and apply for the job because he loves the club. Who knows? Only time will tell. But whoever we get next, whether it be Dunk or whoever, it needs to be the right man. And this club, I wouldn't say it's been on a decline. It's still a big club. It's a massive club. It's just the results have been on the decline over the last few seasons and say league positions as well. So we need to get back into winning ways and start climbing that league and start being the big club that we are again.
We do, of course, and Aston Villa as well, another massive club. We've seen, obviously, Steven Gerrard's gone there now. Their recent form's been a bit hit and miss as well, but it's going to be a tough game. It's a massive game. A win today would see us just within 1 point of Aston Villa as well. We desperately need to start climbing that table, don't we, so that we're not looking behind us. We can start looking at the teams ahead of us instead. Yeah,
that's what it's like. It's if you can put a run at say 2 or 3 games together, 6 points, 9 points, all of a sudden you jump on 5 or 6 places. That's the way the league is at the moment. I mean, you only have to look at Norwich before the game last week. They beat us, they beat Watford last night 3-0, and they're starting to climb that league. And I know they're close to Everton, but we've got 3 or 4 games in hand on them. So at the minute we're quite lucky that there's a lot of poor teams below us at the moment. But listen, we don't need to be fighting in the bottom half of the table. We need to be fighting in the top half of the table. And I wouldn't go so far as to say the top 4. We'd love to be in the top 4, obviously, but when you look at the likes of City, Liverpool, United, Chelsea, the money they spend and the clubs and the players they've got, we need to be up there in the top, say, 6 or 7. And then in a couple of years, we start aiming towards in the top 4. We'd love to be playing European Cup football again. And but first and foremost, you've got to steady your position in the league. And I wouldn't say it's worrying at the minute. If it was say the end of March and we're down there, then it's trouble then. But at the moment, I think we're looking poor with the results. But I'm sure with Dunk at the helm over the next few weeks, few months, whatever, few years, we'll be okay.
Brilliant. And as you say, the league is still pretty tight. You win a couple of games and you find yourself right back in there. And something that will help us today, hopefully on our way to 3 points, is the fans in this stadium. You've played here many a time in front of the Everton fans and Evertonian yourself. It's going to be bouncing this place today, isn't it?
Absolutely, and I think the added spice with Steven Gerrard on the other bench as well.
Dean, Coutinho.
Well, yeah, Luca Dean as well. I mean, I think you'd also look at player situations. I think he'd have probably still been, if Rafa would have got sacked a week earlier, I think Luca Dean probably would have still been at the club. I don't know what's gone on. Only between the manager or the board and the player knows what's gone on. He loved the club. All his stuff on the social media. He was saying, he poured his heart out to the club and he loved it here. I'm sure he would have still been here. But look, not to be. He's not one of our players anymore. He's a class player. But as you say, it's got all the ingredients of a great atmosphere, and I'm sure it'll be bouncing all four sides.
Yes, it's going to be moody in here today. We can't wait. Stuart Barlow, thank you so much for your time, and I hope we both enjoy the game today. Great to have Stuart Barlow with me earlier. Always fantastic to get former players on the show. The game not too far away now, Snods. The fans are starting to pile in now, and there's just a sort of anticipation about the place, isn't there? I think when we see the Everton players get on the pitch behind us, there'll be a fair bit of noise.
I think we'll hear, and just behind the camera as well, there's quite a few now gathering the park end, and they've clenched the fists already down to me, as much as we're up for this.
Yes.
3 points, so hopefully there'll be a lot of smiling faces in and around the ground, not only the park end, but the main stand, the Gladys Street, the lower Bullings over there. So, ready. Nice to see Stuart Barlow. He still looks fit, Stewie, doesn't he?
Doesn't he? Yeah.
Honestly.
Brilliant. He wanted to get on the pitch as well. We were talking off air.
Do you know what? He could still play now, Stewie. He is that. I've watched him, as I say. I have not played with him recently, but I still watch him now in charity games stuff. He's as fit now as he ever has been, Stu. So, good to hear him. Good to have him back as well. So the Villa players are just coming out, Sarah, to our left-hand side as well.
Luca there as well.
So, Villa are just coming out. So our boys won't be long. Here they come. Our boys are coming out as well. So not long to go.
Not long to go. Fantastic stuff. I wasn't sure then whether the applause was going to be for Luca Dean making a return or the boys behind us. But yeah, Everton team is out on the pitch behind us. See Richarlison there with his little blonde head. As I said before, fantastic goal for him against Norwich. Such a shame that goal won't be.
It wasn't. Do you know when he scored, I thought, right, this is us now. The momentum will be with us. It's a fantastic overhead kick. Got us right back into the game. You could hear the Evertonians, the away fans, all shouting, singing his name, and I thought, we'll go on at least get a point.
I thought
hopefully
so.
go on and win it. And again, it just fizzled out in the end, and it was a disappointing result. So, there were no question that Richarlison was not going to play today. He was going to play at all costs.
And Richarlison, we speak about this, he is a player that just thrives. He loves this club, he loves the fans. He's just had his Brazilian tattooed on his neck, the song that the Everton fans... Yeah, he's had that tattooed on his neck. He's somebody who thrives in this place. He loves being loved, doesn't he? And I think today he'll be right up for rocking Goodison Park.
He does love being loved. There's sometimes you think, come on, Richarlison, give me a smile. Give me a smile. And he gets usually disappointed when he gets brought off, as every player should. But there's at times I'd like to see a smile on his face. But when he puts that shirt on, he always gives his all. He scores wonderful goals for us, and he's an handful. The opposition do not like to play against Richarlison, and that's how it should be.
Absolutely. Well, hopefully he'll be smiling for Snods today, get a goal in the Gladys Street end. But for now, let's update you on the latest with Bramley-Moore Dock.
As you can see, things are really starting to move, really starting to progress down here at Bramley-Moore Dock. We're starting to get a real feel, a real sense of the size and the scale of this absolutely fantastic Bramley-Moore project. The actual dock itself has been filled in completely. The compaction of the sand is underway, and so is the exciting part, the construction part. Ben, I've just suggested that now that the dock is filled in and the sand compaction is underway, that's the complicated stuff over and done with. You're going to tell me different?
I couldn't disagree more. Certainly a large bit of complicated work doing the marine engineering and filling the dock, but there's a huge stadium to build around us, and there's a lot more still to come.
We can see the concrete structure behind you there. What is that?
So what you're looking at behind me here is the first elements of superstructure for the stadium, which have started coming out of the ground. So this is the northwest core entrance to the stadium. So what you've got here on the west side is the turnstiles to walk in and the stairs to get up to the concourses, to get out into the terraces and get to your seats. So this is really the first superstructure elements that we've begun to build.
You've got plenty of experience in the construction industry, Ben. How exciting a project is this for you?
Oh, it's incredible. It's probably the most exciting project I've ever worked on, and I've worked on some, incredible buildings around Liverpool. But the added complication of marine engineering with such a large structure and such a high-profile job, it's fantastic.
Just go back to the concrete structure behind you. What's next for that actual piece of land there?
We're using what we call DFMA, or modern methods of construction. And what that essentially means is we're manufacturing all of these products away from site, bringing them here and assembling them. So the core itself will continue assembling. We've got another 3 floors to build on top of this, and that will be assembled up to the top, and then we'll continue on with the steel frame from there.
It's difficult for us to imagine standing here to envisage what the final completed stand will look like. I suppose you can picture it perfectly, can you?
Well, we work in a BIM world, which in construction terms means a 3D environment. I've stood inside the stadium in a virtual environment. I've seen it from all angles, and I've lived this for 2 years now, so I've seen every part of this stadium. So I know exactly what it'll feel like when it's completed. It's just exciting to get there.
Are we on schedule?
We are. So what you're looking at here is a mock-up of the facade, which is the outer skin of the stadium. The brickwork is part of the architectural pattern, and we've done 4 mock-ups. What you're looking at there is actually 4 different panels, and we've used that to agree the pattern that will get cast into the precast panels with the brickwork in the final face of the stadium.
That's actually a very, very important component of it all, isn't it?
It's incredibly important. It's probably the piece that you will see the most from the outside of the stadium, and there's the architect has used the truss pattern from Goodison Park called the Leach Truss, designed by Archibald Leach, to imprint a pattern on the external face of the building.
And what about the little 6-seater stand behind you?
So what you're looking at here, the inner skin of the stadium is what we term the ball. And this is a small replica or mock-up of that bowl. So you're looking at examples of seating, terraces, stairs that you will use to get up and view the football.
So the company that sent those 6 seats will be asked to provide another 55,000 of them at some point?
That's the idea.
Bramley-Moore Dock, always really exciting to see that. And I'm excited to see this man. It's my mate Speedo Mick.
You're
fully
right,
dressed.
lovely. Yeah, fully dressed for the change, man.
So good to see you.
Oh, thank you. It's great to be back. I haven't been back here since the first lockdown. I haven't been to Goodison Park. So what's your game, man? That's how long it's been. Because I went on the walk then, didn't I?
Of course, you've been keeping yourself busy.
I have been a bit busy, yeah.
I was going to say, some end to 2021 you had, Speedo, and a welcome home to Liverpool. Tell us a bit about what you did, how many miles you walked, how much money you raised. You're incredible.
All right, so I took another walking challenge on in me Speedos, you know what I mean? And it was a 2,500 mile walk. It was a 2,000 mile walk in the beginning, but it ended up 2,500 miles. We added Cornwall into the mix, which we never had it in the first place, and we'd miscalculated the miles as well. So it was 2,500 in the end, you know what I mean? And
wow.
It started on the 31st of May, finished on the 17th of December, which was 6.5 months
Good
of
grief.
walking. And yeah, it was a long walk as well. You know, it took a long time, of course, and but it, like you say, it was for charity. It was for the Speedo Mick Foundation, which we've got up and running now. And you know, it's going really well. And the purpose of the walk was to give back up to £250,000 from the last walk we took on to small charities that make a massive difference in our communities. They hardly get a look in, you know what I mean? And like a small amount of money, like £1,000, £2,000, £3,000 of them can go so far, you know what I mean? So that was the purpose of the walk, was basically to give back, and that's what it was called. It was called the Speedo Mix, giving back. So we gave to about, I think it was 93 charities.
Wow.
And we given over, we never actually reached, we were still giving out actually, but we still, we gave over £200,000 out to charity along the way, which was great, because you know that all the donations that people are making for everybody here, especially the Evertonians, you know what I mean, with all the support they've shown me, it's helping a lot of people, you know what I mean, and you know, charities, England, Ireland, Scotland and Wales. I started off in the House of Hebrides, and I walked through the House of Hebrides, and then I walked through Scotland, and then I went over to Ireland, walked around the coast of Ireland, and then I went over to Wales, walked through Wales, and then I went into England, and I walked down to Land's End, and then from Land's End I would then walk down to Liverpool, and you know what I mean?
I'm tired. I'm listening to you reel off all them places, and I'm thinking, do you know what? I win sometimes if I go downstairs and I forgot something upstairs and have to go back up. I don't know how you do it, Mick. You know, you truly are an Everton hero. You're a hero. You're a man of the people. You know, we're extremely lucky and privileged to have you, and you know, just delighted to see you here. I can't believe you haven't been to Goodison for that long. Because you've been working.
Yeah, well, it's been the lockdown.
Of course.
It's been the lockdown, and then it hadn't opened up before I set off on the walk properly. There was only a few thousand fans allowed to come in, you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's been that long. But after what you're just saying there, you know, it's a privilege for me to do this stuff, because, you know what I mean? You know, I know the position, you know the position that I was in a long time, so does everybody else. I'm not ashamed of talking about it, you know what I mean? I was in trouble, I got the support I needed a long time ago, and this is it's given me a massive purpose to be able to do this stuff, you know what I mean, for the community, for people who are still struggling for mental health, disadvantaged young people and homelessness, which is what the Speedo Mick Foundation is set up to support, man. And it gives me a purpose. It really does.
Well, as I say, just all the love for you, mate. You're fantastic, and I know, you know, what you've come through and what you're doing for other people. I can't speak more highly of you, honestly.
Well, just before we finish, because I see you're just going to wind it up there, I do want to say that I don't do it on my own. There's always a team behind me, and all the supporters are part of that team as well, all the people who are donating. And, you know, I've got a social media team there, I had a PR team, do you know what I mean? I had someone getting hotels, I had a grants team, all doing it, mostly doing it for free as well, you know what I mean? And I've got a fantastic board as well for the Speedo Mick Foundation. So I'm never on my own doing it really. I know I'm doing the slogging, the walking and stuff, and I get the praises and stuff, but there's so many people who I wouldn't be able to do it without, basically, so thank you to them. And to all the fans for all your support.
Well, absolutely, to everyone involved with the Speedo Mick Foundation, top work as ever, and we're so lucky to have you. Just quickly, because we have got to go to an interview with Ben Godfrey. Excited for today, mate? Are we going to win?
I am very excited today, because we know Duncan's in charge, and we know what he done last time, so we're hoping he's going to ramp it right up for us. It's a big game for us, and it's a chance for the players to show what they've got as well, do you know what I mean? I want good luck, you know what I mean, to them, and it's going to be electric in here today, I think. You know what I mean? There's going to be a lot of anxiety as well, but it's going to be electric, man. You know what I mean? Up the Toffees, man. Come on!
Yes, Mick, it is going to be electric, and someone who will be thriving in this atmosphere today, no doubt, is Ben Godfrey. Here's what he had to say ahead of this one.
Go ahead.
Ben, so Everton have hit the reset button. Does it really feel like a fresh start in the dressing room now?
Yeah. Lads have been buzzing, you know, in training, working hard as always, and looking forward to putting things right today.
You keep chopping and changing the man at the top. It makes it pretty difficult. But I suppose you know what Duncan Ferguson's going to ask of you today.
That's just part of football, you know. Unfortunately, managers lose their job in football. That's just how it is. But you know, we all know what to expect from Duncan. The lads are firing in there and ready to go.
Yeah, what is that? What are you expecting? What does he want?
Hard work, to give everything 110%. You're not always guaranteed to have your best game, but you can always graft and work hard. You know, the lads are behind him, and he's been putting his ideas across to us this week. And as I said, you know, the lads are just, you know, they can't wait to get out there and fight for 3 points.
And Villa have got a relatively new manager in Stevie Gerrard. What do you make of the side?
Yeah, it's the same goes for them. You know, it's always, it gives that team an uplift with a new manager. You see it all the time. You know, they'll be working hard, and again, it's a massive game for them as well. So both teams really want 3 points, and it's one that everyone can look forward to.
Yeah, so Ben Godfrey there, hopefully we'll be seeing him get a clean sheet today. Just quickly on Speedo Mick there. What a guy, eh?
Fantastic. I went to greet him when he finished his walk down on the waterfront there. And
scenes there, eh?
Oh, it were brilliant, and people were still ploughing money into his buckets as well. It's he did phenomenally well. I don't know, he must be warm today with that leather jacket on.
I didn't recognise him.
I know, I said, where's the old trunks? He went, no, I'm here today as a fan now. To be fair, even he said straight away, I'm just here, we need 3 points. He knows the importance of this game.
This is it, you know, we're all so excited, I think, because we know Duncan's in there, like you said, John Everall, Leighton Baines, Aaron Kelly. We feel like we've got our club back a little bit, but we've got to get down to business. These players behind us today have got to make sure that they get them points, and obviously I've just seen Luca Dean right up close and personal, a few fans trying to get his attention there as well. He wasn't giving it any.
No, he'll be focused, he'll realise. He'll have a tinge of disappointment that he's, I'm sure, in an Aston Villa, or I would like to think he'd have a tinge of disappointment that he's not at this football club. He's now at Aston Villa, he's moved on. He'll go and try and do his best for us, but we've got to look forward to the club. Luca Dean is not our player anymore. I'm hoping he has an absolute shocker this afternoon.
I hope he's leaving with his head in his hands and feeling miserable, to be honest.
And so am I. He doesn't belong to us at the minute. He might be a nice lad off the field. I don't really know Luca Dean, to be quite honest, but I don't care about him. He's not in a blue shirt. I don't care how he plays today, so all I care about is this football club winning today, getting 3 points and getting out of trouble from relegation.
Definitely, and hopefully Damari Gray will be giving him a hard time today as well. Damari Gray, speaking of, you know, he's due a goal, isn't he? He always steps up and scores for us the most important times. I think without him this season, I dread to think, to be honest, where we might be.
He's been a revelation, he has. He's picked up a little injury now and again, and he's had the odd indifferent game, but throughout the season he's been outstanding. I think he's got quality for what you pay for him. He's been an absolute bargain. He's got a change of pace, he knows where the goal is, he's tricky, he can put a cross in, he's got everything, and I'm delighted he's in an Everton shirt.
Do you know what? I often think about how many teams are probably kicking themselves when they look at what a player he is. And, you know, like you said, it's impossible not to comment on the price we got him for, because he's been one of the best players in the league.
Yeah, there must have been something wrong in his makeup at some point for Leicester to let him go, and then wherever he went after that. Germany, was it? He came, and he didn't really want the first team place over in Germany. So there must have been something wrong with him. But wow, since he's come to Everton Football Club, I think he realises it's a fantastic football club, and he wants to go out and perform, and he's certainly doing that week in and week out.
He is, and long may that continue. No doubt he'll be looking to get in on the goals today as well. But another player, you know, that I think an area where Everton need to score more goals from. The likes of, I know he's not been playing for a while, but Yerry Meany, you know, when we get these set pieces, we don't often score from set pieces. I'd like to see that changing as well.
Do you know, we don't. We always say in commentary, me and Daz, get ready to defend when we've got a set cut, please.
Corner
kick, get ready for the counter-attack. We're vulnerable from that because we don't score that many goals, but Yerry Mina's is forceful in the box. I would love to see the deliveries, and Andros Townsend, who's playing today, has got great delivery from set plays, so I'm hoping that he puts one on Big Yerry's head.
Yes!
And whether it's in the Gladys Street or the Park End Street, and Yerry gets on the end of it. But yeah, I'm just looking at Tyrone Mings as well. First time I've really, they were warming up literally 5 yards from us. Didn't realise how big a lad he was as well. You see him on TV, and you know he is quite strong and tall. Wow, I didn't realise he was that big as well. But don't get me wrong, I don't think he's brilliant. I really don't. I think he's got a mistake in him, and I think if Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison, if we do play two up the front, can put him under pressure, I think he has got a mistake in him. So don't let him have time on the ball, don't let him come out with it, don't let him think he's a player, get after him.
Definitely. And if there's anyone, talk about stature and physicality, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin, I mean, he's a big lad, isn't he? And he'll be getting stuck into Mings today, no doubt.
Yeah, they'll not relish playing against Dominic today. We know as I said about 45 minutes ago, Dominic needs a few more games to be up to his very best, but he'll not make it an easy afternoon for the likes of Mings. He'll know him from England, he'll know what to expect, and he'll expect a difficult game with Tyrone Mings, and I'm sure hopefully Dominic's not going to disappointment in that way of playing this afternoon.
Absolutely, we'll be looking for a Duncan Ferguson-esque performance from our number 9 today. Speaking of Duncan Ferguson, here he is again ahead of this one.
Duncan, you're back in the hot seat. You've been here, you've done it before. What's the message been to your players?
Yeah, go for it. You know what I mean? Really be aggressive. Really show the Everton way. We want the team in the front foot. We want to press hard. So that's the type of message, really. You know what I mean? Similar to what happened 2 years ago, really.
You said home truths have been talked about this week. Is that the message?
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, really. You know, get real into the players, because as you know, over the last few months, it's not been quite good enough, has it?
5 changes. Richarlison starts for the first time in 6 weeks. A big boost for you as well.
Yeah, top player. Glad he's back fit, and obviously he was on the bench last week. We brought him on, but he starts today. But of course, you can make all the changes because the results have not been there, have they? So you can make the changes.
So Mina, John Joe Kenny, Holgate, Andros Townsend returns as well. You're putting your stamp on this side.
Yeah, I think you've got to, because you can make changes, as I said. The form's not been good enough. So so I can make the changes. I don't think there's any arguments, is there?
You're going to enjoy taking on Steve Gerrard's side. Adds a little bit extra, doesn't it?
Well, I'm glad he's not playing, that's for sure. What a top player he was, wasn't he? He was unbelievable. Look, it's Everton against Aston Villa, isn't it? And it'll be a really great game, but it'll be great to see Stephen, top player.
I think you had a call from Carlo Ancelotti in the build-up to this, have you?
I did. Carlo called me, wish me all the best. So yeah, that was nice.
And last time you took the job for interim manager, you had Howard Kendall's lucky watch on. Have you got it again?
I did. Yeah, I'll always have it. You know what I mean? I have got it on, yes.
Well, there you have it. That's the final word from the big man ahead of this one. Snod's got to come to your prediction. We've got to win, haven't we? I do this to you all the time, though, and I know it's been tough lately, but the main thing is 3 points today.
Yeah, people have been asking me since I arrived at the ground, would you take a point? No, I won't take a point. I want 3. I'm greedy, I want 3. I know our form is not good. I know a point might look good in somebody's eyes, but we're at home. Aston Villa, even though they are a good side, their position in the league's not great.
Similar run of form as us in the last few,
yeah. So it's an opportunity for us today. The crowd, there's going to be no question about it, are going to be right up for it. The players are going to be up for it. So no point for me, 3 points.
3 points, that's what we want, Snods. Well, thank you so much again for joining us on Everton Live. It's always a pleasure. Going to let you get up to the commentary box now and join Darren Griffiths for commentary on this one. Just heard that Everton. I'm buzzing. I can't wait. We hope you enjoy the game. We hope you've enjoyed Everton Live. We will be back. FA Cup versus Brentford is the next one. Until then, see you next time. And come on, you Blues.